So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. I don't know about you, my perfect prose pursuers, but that sentence compels me to beat on. I of course mean my heart. This famous line by F. Scott Fitzgerald captures the yearning, struggle, and poetic tragedy woven into one of the greatest books in American literature, The Great Gatsby. The novel is a tragic tale of ambition, love, and the American dream, following the enigmatic J. Gatsby as he pursues wealth and an unattainable love for Daisy Buchanan. What's more, it's all set against the backdrop of the decadence and moral decline of 1920s America. I'm Lee Stewart, here to talk with you about this celebrated sentence and the passage that leads up to it. Our goal is in the channel name. We're pursuing perfect prose. So let's talk about boats, currents, and the tantalizing dream of the green light. Let's set the stage. Here's the full closing portion of The Great Gatsby. And as I sat there brooding on the old unknown world, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. He had come a long way to this blue lawn, and his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. He did not know that it was already behind him, somewhere back in that vast obscurity beyond the city, where the dark fields of the Republic rolled on under the night. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther, and one fine morning... So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Literarily speaking, I'm swinging right now. Readers and writers both delight at this passage, and if you're an aspiring author hoping to match this passage, you'll be chasing that green light for a while. Because this passage doesn't merely close The Great Gatsby, it defines it. It's rich with imagery, dripping with melancholy, and packs an emotional punch you'll still be feeling long after you've put the book back on the shelf. You can zoom out from this passage and see Fitzgerald's grander theme, a critique of the American dream. That classic idea that anyone can achieve wealth, success, and happiness if they work hard enough? Fitzgerald scoffs at this with 1920s haughtiness. So, you've heard the passage, but perhaps you're still wondering what all the swinging, literarily, is all about. Let's break down this timeless piece of writing into 6 manageable sections. First, we'll explore the opening lines and discover how it builds the passage's legacy. We'll then dissect the past he's referencing and its vast obscurity. Third, we'll talk about the orgastic future. Next, running faster, stretching farther. How so? We'll spend time on the legendary finale and wrap things up with some final thoughts. Part 1. Building a legacy. Kicking off the paragraph is, and as I sat there brooding on the old unknown world, right away, Fitzgerald, speaking through the book's narrator, Nick Carraway, sets a reflective, almost melancholic tone. The phrase, old unknown world, carries a duality. It's both nostalgic and mysterious. It evokes the sense of something grand and lost, an echo of Gatsby's dream. It pulls you in because it's broad enough to feel universal, but specific enough to tether us to Nick's perspective. Fitzgerald's language often straddles the line between the personal and the universal, part of why it hits so hard. Next, check out the word choice, brooding. He could have written thinking or pondering, but no, brooding is better because it's heavy and moody. It suggests contemplation tinged with sorrow, preparing us emotionally for the themes of loss and unattainability that follow. The mental stimulation continues with, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. Fitzgerald's prose starts doing the Charleston here. Notice how he uses wonder instead of hope or desire. It's wonder. That single word elevates Gatsby's longing into something almost sacred. Then comes the line, he had come a long way to this blue lawn, and his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. The first half of this gives us more prose to geek out on. The phrase blue lawn is fascinating. It's not just a lawn, it's a blue lawn. Vivid, dreamlike, and surreal. Fitzgerald's adjectives do a lot of heavy lifting, painting Gatsby's world as both enchanting and unattainable. What about the second half of that sentence? And his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. Hurts, right? This is where the heartbreak begins. Fitzgerald gives us Gatsby's perspective, full of hope, before ruthlessly pulling the rug out with the next sentence. The rhythm, the imagery, the emotion. It's like music on the page, and friends, I want to dance. I won't though. Not because I can't, but because the pull rugs trip me. Part 2. The Past and its Vast Obscurity. I know. You've had your heart and possibly your legs broken from that rug pull, and you're wondering how much more you can take. Sorry to tell you, friends, there's more pain coming. He did not know that it was already behind him, somewhere back in that vast obscurity beyond the city, where the dark fields of the Republic rolled on under the night. Hot damn! That phrasing, vast obscurity, it's ambiguous and overwhelming, like the unknowable nature of the past itself. And dark fields of the Republic, get out of here! That's Fitzgerald pulling America's broader history into the mix. The dream Gatsby is chasing isn't just personal. It's tied to the fading idealism of an entire nation. Quick fact, Fitzgerald was obsessed with the idea of the American dream. He saw its beauty, but also its flaws and hypocrisies. That tension between the dream and its impossibility is embedded in every word of this paragraph. Part 3. The Orgastic Future. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. How about that word, orgastic? There is not a single joke, either blatant or wrapped in innuendo, or my endo, that I can make about it. It's not a word you see every day, even then, and Fitzgerald knew it. He tossed out ecstatic or joyful. Boring! Because orgastic is visceral. As it should be. This isn't just a polite aspiration. It's raw, desperate, practically primal. And of course it's evocative, evoking both ecstasy and unattainability. By choosing this word, Fitzgerald captures the painful intensity of Gatsby's longing. It's another way his choice of language elevates the dream to a mythic level, while also hinting at its inherent futility. Now, what about the green light? The green light is the ultimate metaphor. It's Gatsby's dream of daisy, success, validation. And it's always just out of reach. It's the embodiment of hope itself and the perfect summation of everything the Great Gatsby is about. Fitzgerald's brilliance here is in making something as simple as a light carry the weight of the entire story. Part 4. Running faster, stretching farther. The next line? It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther, and one fine morning... This is the human condition in a nutshell. No matter how many times we fall short, we keep trying. There's hope. And that's what makes this so powerful. But there's a catch. It's also tragic. That little M- at the end of "and one fine morning" is doing a boatload of work. It leaves the thought unfinished, like a dream interrupted. Fitzgerald points out to us that no matter how much we strive, the dream can feel like it's constantly slipping away. Part 5. The final sentence. A preemptive "you're welcome," because here it is again, the grand finale. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Take a moment to appreciate the rhythm. Wet yourselves, in whichever way excites you, over the writing itself. Fitzgerald's prose is a masterclass of imagery. This sentence is virtually poetry, lyrical, and layered with meaning. Let me explain my ceaselessly juvenile and inappropriate excitement. To begin with, pay attention to the alliteration of B sounds. Beat, boats, borne back. It creates a musical quality and a sense of inevitability, like waves lapping against a boat. Here's another fast fact. Fitzgerald was an avid admirer of poetry, particularly the Romantic poets. Their influence shines through in his work, especially in the way he uses nature imagery to evoke emotion. That's why his prose often feels like it's twirling on the edge of verse. Then there's the metaphor of the boats. Simple, but devastating. The current represents time, history, and even fate. Gatsby's obsession with the past is his downfall. He believes he can repeat it, but time is unyielding. This idea of being borne back ceaselessly into the past reflects not just Gatsby's fate, but another universal truth. We are shaped by our histories, whether we like it or not. This line captures the human condition in one elegant stroke. No matter how hard we strive, we're always fighting forces beyond our control. Gatsby keeps striving, and consider that he's not just chasing Daisy, he's chasing an ideal, a version of the past that never truly existed. And in doing so, he represents the larger theme of the novel, the American dream. Yes, as if we needed another example of where Fitzgerald's genius really shines, he's done it again here. He uses Gatsby's personal story to critique a national ethos. The American dream promises that if you work hard enough, you can achieve anything. But in Fitzgerald's world, that dream is a lie, a glittering illusion that leads people to ruin, which is the real kicker. The green light isn't just Gatsby's dream, it's our dream, the American dream, the human dream, the idea that tomorrow can be better than today. Fitzgerald ties Gatsby's personal tragedy to something we all chase, because aren't we all in some way chasing our own green lights? Whether it's a dream job, a lost love, we're all rowing against the current. It's both deeply relatable and profoundly heartbreaking. Consider as well the placing of this line. It comes at the very end, and in this gives the story's final moments a haunting, unforgettable resonance. It's like a wave that crashes over you and lingers. Here's some Fitz tidbits for the word nerds. Fitzgerald revised this last line extensively. He was obsessed with getting the rhythm right, and it shows. This isn't just writing, it's sculpting with language. So, while I jeered at the idea of us writers matching work of this quality, knowing how hard Fitzgerald labored, that it didn't just flow effortlessly from his pen, actually gives hope. Fitzgerald understood this kind of relentless striving in many ways. He and his wife, Zelda, who were kind of the original influences of the Jazz Age, threw extravagant parties and lived the high life. But underneath the glitter was, well, the same existential dread you'd expect from someone who wrote The Great Gatsby. They struggled with money, ambition, and mental health. Thank goodness nobody goes through that anymore. Oh. You know, I'm in a fact-giving mood, so here's another. When Fitzgerald wrote this, he was also critiquing his own era, a time when everyone was partying like prohibition wasn't a thing, and, spoiler alert, it all came crashing down with the Great Depression. Fitzgerald saw that coming, so he wasn't just capturing the glitz, he was warning about the crash to come. He saw the hollowness beneath the surface, and that foresight is another aspect that makes this book timeless. Unfortunately, Fitzgerald struggled financially and emotionally while writing The Great Gatsby. He was desperate to achieve greatness, but the book didn't sell well during his lifetime. Fitzgerald's own life mirrored Gatsby's dream chasing. He wanted literary immortality, and while he didn't live to see it, it's fair to say that this paragraph, and the entire book, which you should read from cover to cover if you haven't already, is evidence he reached it. Part 6. Final Thoughts. So, my perfect prose pursuers, can we label this passage perfect? Perhaps you consider the language too flowery, or the sentiment too bleak. Comment away and let me know. I won't judge. Because just as this paragraph is about striving for something a hair out of reach, maybe that includes perfect prose. Perhaps perfection is impossible. The pursuit, however, that's where the fun is. Read on!